All right, so this thing behind me, this is the Rolls-Royce Spectre. This is a ridiculously expensive, fully electric, gigantic luxury sedan. It's crazy. It doesn't make any sense, but at the same time, actually, it does like make a lot of sense. It makes perfect sense. So you're gonna have to hear me out with this one. So yeah, if we're just talking about on the surface here, this thing is wild. It's a giant luxury sedan. Or I guess technically it's a coupe because... Alright, I need y'all to chill. It's a coupe because it has 2 doors, but it also has 4 seats. But 577 horsepower, 600 plus pound-feet of torque. The thing weighs nearly 7,000 pounds, nearly as much as the Rivian R1T, but it also does 0 to 60 in the low 4s. It has a ton of power in a straight line, and it gets about 260 miles of range on a full charge. But the thing is, and you probably already see where this is going, you've heard me talk about luxury sedans before. What more perfect vehicle could there be to go electric? If I want a luxury sedan, what do I want? I want it to be big, smooth, quiet, lots of space, and it's probably going to be heavy and expensive, but comes with the territory. This would be the quietest, smoothest, softest, with the most space Rolls-Royce ever built. Rolls-Royce knows that too. They have promised that their entire lineup will be electric by 2030, so I feel like I was right. So they're starting with this one. This Spectre is essentially, it's a BMW i7 battery and motors underneath, but with custom suspension and Rolls-Royce up top. And it's $500,000. And I'll get to the price in a minute. But even with as much as we have going on with this car, there is a pretty constant theme through the whole car for me, pretty clearly, and that is soft. This is the softest car that you can buy. Everything about it, from the suspension, which I'll talk about in a second, to the way it drives, the super soft steering, the seats you sit in, the super soft leather and materials inside, the floor mats are incredibly soft lamb's wool. But then even things like the acceleration and deceleration are mapped to the pedal to be super smooth and soft. Just the whole thing, super soft. So let's get to the inside of this Rolls-Royce, because it's a Rolls-Royce, and where else would you want to be? But also because it's freezing outside. I gotta start with this. You've seen Rolls-Royces before, right? The door opens from the front here. And yeah, okay, we've seen this before. Let's get in. Put our foot on the brake, and as soon as I put my foot on the brake, this door will close itself softly. So this is a pretty iconic view, just because you can't really see it when it's bright like this, but the stars above me right now in the headliner. But the first thing you notice getting into this car is great high quality materials, and also very soft. I'm sitting in a very, very soft leather seat, but even look at this stuff. This turns so smoothly and so softly, and if you want to stop the airflow, you just push that. That's sick. The way all the HVAC controls are set up, you can change the temperature of the top and bottom just by doing that. I want it to be warm, so I'm over here. You can set the airflow to be super high or super soft. And then under the wood trim and everything, I don't know if you'll be able to appreciate this, but this carpeting down here looks kind of messy, but this is the softest carpet I've ever seen in a car. Allegedly, it's lamb's wool. At least that's what it says on the option sheet, but that is soft. But really, truly, the special thing to me about this car is actually driving it, which you might not think about a gigantic Rolls-Royce like this, but 3 things. 1, the suspension is unbelievably soft. They actually have a feature, so it's a special customized suspension from Rolls-Royce. It's called the planar suspension system. Basically, it decouples the anti-roll bars when driving in a straight line, so each wheel acts independently. So when you're driving in a straight line and like one of the wheels hits a pothole, the entire car doesn't sort of waft and wobble over it. It's just that one wheel that hits it, or maybe the 2 left side wheels or something like that. It gives it this cloud boat-like feeling. It really masks speed super well, just like the Maybach. You'll have no idea how slow or how fast you're going. You're just sort of floating along like you're on a cloud. Secondly, somehow even the acceleration and steering are soft. I mean, this is a gigantic steering wheel, really, really big car, but it does have rear wheel steer, so you can sort of nimbly get around. But this is one of the rare cars with 500 plus horsepower that you don't really ever feel like you need to use it or floor it. You don't really feel inspired to go fast or anything like that. It's so soft. The acceleration and deceleration tuning from the pedal is incredibly gradual, especially off the line. You do this when you turn on regenerative braking by hitting the B pedal on this little stalk here. When you let your foot off the brake, it basically does a limo stop. It slows all the way down till almost zero and then just barely eases you into a stop. It's so smooth. And then of course off the line, same thing. You can stamp it off of a light, but you're not going to spin tires and slam your head back. It doesn't want to do that. It wants to roll you into power. And it's so good at it. And then 3, last but definitely not least, the most impressive part is this is the quietest car I have ever sat in my life. It's crazy quiet in this cabin. So you've got windows that roll down and they are double pane, thick glass, and you can hear that there's a difference as soon as you roll the window down, all that outside noise. When you roll all the windows up, you are isolated in a cabin that feels truly impressive. There's apparently hundreds of pounds of noise isolating material in here. You can't hear the road. You don't even hear much wind at all. You don't hear the drivetrain. And if there are other cars around you, if there are trucks on the road, you just don't hear them. You can have whisper quiet conversations at highway speed in this car. It's so quiet. I've never driven a car this quiet. This is on 23-inch wheels. That should be impossible. What? This isn't even a smooth road. How is it this quiet? And like, there are speakers all over the cabin of this car. It's got this bespoke $11,000 speaker system. And I'm going to get to the price stuff in a second. But yes, it sounds amazing, but it's not because it's some $11,000 amazing speaker system. It's because it's so quiet in here. You hear everything over the top of normal road noise. You hear more bass and sub-bass. You hear more instrument separation because you're in a very quiet room. Now, the rest of the driving experience you can kind of treat like normal. It's got cameras around the car, which is nice. It has wireless CarPlay, which is cool. It's rated for 260 miles of range, and in cold weather like this, it's really closer to 200, maybe 190. But what I do like is it's very conservative with your range estimates. So if it says you can get 150 miles, you can actually get 150 miles and be comfortable with it. So it's kind of like Rivian in that way. I think that's nice. So then, okay, 2 things I want to show you about the tech in this car that I didn't expect to be that good, but they are actually. So first of all, there's 2 screens up here. There's one in the middle, which is where your wireless CarPlay can go, and the normal built-in software. And then there's also the screen behind the steering wheel. I don't love this one, especially because I don't love the power reserve where it counts down from 100 as you accelerate. Either way. This is the normal software screen, and yeah, wireless CarPlay is great, and it's a touchscreen, and you can actually move around with this little dial here with the Spirit of Ecstasy on it to move around through the software, so that's great that works. But the first cool thing is on this gigantic steering wheel, there is this voice assistant button, which if you have CarPlay going, it will trigger Siri, but if you don't, it will trigger the car's built-in voice assistant, which is tied to the microphone right above your head or right above the passenger's head. And when you press it, it'll let you change things like the volume of the music or Bluetooth or whatever. And it worked, which is nice. But the second thing is built into this tech here, and I go into this little menu, drive recorder. I didn't expect this, but you can actually go in and through all the cameras around the car, set up dash cam recordings from when you hit the record button. It'll record before you hit, it'll record after you hit, and you can always see what's going on around your car in pretty decently high quality too. When it stores it, it's got all these different cars around the car, or cameras around the car, for you to keep track of what happened, an accident. I mean, a car this expensive, I would want to be able to see everything, so I'm glad it has that. I didn't expect that. Good job, Rolls-Royce. Now, I know you're not supposed to talk about options and prices on a car like this, because if you're asking the question, you probably can't afford it. But this is a video and it's fun anyway, so let's do that, because there's a lot of crazy prices with this car. First of all, the starting price is $420,000. That's already pretty expensive. This car MSRPs with its options at $540,000. So the car has almost $120,000 of options. Let's check out some of the highlights. So this gorgeous Twilight purple color. Sorry, there's a ton of salt on it, and that's not my fault. The roads look crazy in New Jersey, but this purple color here, this is a $13,100 paint job. And then this satin silver in the middle, because you got this little two-tone look going on, pretty signature Rolls-Royce look, but that satin silver is an extra $9,525. Then these wheels here, these are the optional 23-inch wheels. They're a little bigger. They're gonna hit your range a little bit, but you know, if they look sick and you like the 7-spoke thing, you can get them for $10,675. And by the way, the fact that it rides this soft on 23-inch wheels with low-profile tires is crazy to me. Now, the stars in the headliner we already know about. That comes standard, thankfully, for free in the Rolls-Royce. But the starlight in the doors, well, that'll cost you $13,300 extra. Totally worth it, though. Now, this interior is pretty serious, and it matches the outside of the car very much so with this two-tone look. The Arctic white leather finish is going to run you $5,975. And then the purple seat piping, yes, the purple piping, that's $4,800 more. And the colored stitching in purple is a nice little touch that will cost you $2,500 more dollars. But I think probably my favorite of them all is the iconic Rolls-Royce umbrella that comes with every car. That's free, and it's right here. If you haven't already heard of it, Rolls-Royces all have this little umbrella in the door, so you never have to get wet when you get out of your Rolls-Royce. But to get the canopy color of the umbrella in black, well, you'll have to pay $1,775 just for that. But I mean, if you're gonna matte black everything, you might as well get the black canopy. That'll cost you. So the list goes on. Like I mentioned, $120,000 total in options in this car. And for that price, you could literally get a whole nother car. You could get a BMW i7 for that price, which is pretty hilarious. But if you're asking me, I'm no expert, but I'm still calling this my favorite Rolls-Royce ever. Fully electric. Look at that nice little magnetizing to get into your sub trunk with your charging cable. Pop that down, nice real trunk. Big spacious car. And I like the taillights here, and I also like this little charge port on the right hand side. Pop that open, big door. I wonder if they're gonna go CCS to NACS at some point, because that's kind of the biggest complaint with this car, is only 260 miles of range is not huge. But at the end of the day, I really like what Doug DeMuro said about this car. He's reviewed the Spectre as well. And the difference between a regular luxury car and a $500,000 Rolls is it's a level up that takes a lot of extra money to get to. Like, you don't need more than an S-Class. You don't need more luxury than a $100,000 electric car or any sort of luxury sedan. But if you do want an actual level up over those standards, the price isn't just linear. The price goes up like this. That's when you end up with this fake grille because it's electric, but everything that sounds so nice, and the lamb's wool carpets, and the extreme level of sound deadening, and the incredibly quiet interior, and everything being so soft, that's how you get to the level up, is by spending quite a bit more. So yeah, I'm not ever gonna buy a car like this, but I'm glad I got to experience it, because experiencing it is way better than just seeing it in a video. Actually sitting in the car and driving at highway speed and whispering and being able to hear it is crazy. So I'm impressed. I'm impressed that they got to pull off all of that and actually sell to real people. Maybe the next one will have a little more range and maybe NACS. Anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.